Good morning, my friends. What is up? My name is Control for Days. Today we are running through a modern league with the deck Black-Green Yawgmoth, as we usually do. I might start branching out a little bit, but today we're sticking to the plan. Today's deck list, we are having some fun. I don't recommend you play this list in a competitive event, but if you want to take it to an FNM or something like that and just have a good time, this is a good list to do it. This list, we are utilizing the Scurry Oak Ivy Lane Denizen combo. What this is a 2-card combo that creates infinite squirrels and a giant Scurry Oak. Between those 2 cards, they do not utilize your graveyard, so it synergizes well with Yawgmoth because you'll get a ton of 1/1 tokens and you don't have to worry about using your graveyard in the process. If you have a Blood Artist or an Innkeeper, you can gain infinite life or deal infinite damage in combination with Yawgmoth. So it is a fun combo. It does synergize with our deck. Definitely not the ideal build, but it is it's still powerful nonetheless. So that's what we're running today. Our sideboard today, I've tried to streamline the sideboard a little bit. We're going up to 2 Crime Punishment today, 2 Force of Vigor. I'm bringing back in a Magus. My last league, I ran into Amulet Titan 3 times in a row. So I'm anticipating that being highly represented in the metagame right now. So Magus is back in the board for now. We're going to take this through a league and see if we can overrun people with some squirrels. Let's do it. All right, let's release the squirrels. This is round 1 of our modern league with Yawgmoth squirrels. We are playing against Typhus 733. We are on the play and we're going to take that. Opening 7 is a keep. We're going to run with it. Pretty straightforward. I don't think this hand needs too much of an explanation. You're going to ramp and then you're going to chord. Obviously plan A is always Yawgmoth, but plan B, you know what it is. They mulligan down to 6. Did not reveal a companion. We're going to lead off with our Boseiju here and play out a bird and pass the turn. And the reason I typically lead off with Birds of Paradise is because it's the less valuable mana dork. If they have some piece of interaction, some piece of removal, they're likely going to use it on this bird. And I'd rather they use it on the bird than the Hierarch in most instances. There are certain decks where you play against where you do want bird to chump block, but I'd say in like 70% of matchups, bird is going to be worse than Hierarch. So, and there it is. There's the heat. This would actually be an instance likely, I'm guessing I'm playing against blue-red Murktide, where the bird would be better, but most of the time it's not going to be. All right, land 2 is a peat land, and I think we're going to play that out as opposed to fetching right now. Play out our Wall of Roots into a Hierarch, and then pass the turn from there. We'll have Chord up next turn for either a Yawgmoth or an Endurance, depending on what they do. If they remove our Hierarch, we'll be able to get an Endurance. If they don't, we'll be able to get a Yawgmoth, because I'm assuming they're not going to spend a counterspell on our Hierarch here. This feels like a Wrenn and 6. Okay, so this is a little bit different than what I was expecting. So they're on a rug build. What they're playing exactly, I'm not sure. Okay, Overgrown Tomb here. So I can chord for a Geist and just kill the Wrenn and 6. It feels like a little bit of an underpowered utilization of our chord, but I feel like that still might be the right play. I'm going to shock in the Tomb, play out our Hierarch. We do have the peat land, so we do have a redraw for later in the game. So it's possible this is a mistake, but I do want to get this Wrenn and 6 off the field. I think this is important to do right now, which is why I'm doing it. All right, so Wrenn and 6 goes down. We have 1 card in hand. They have 4 cards in hand. See what they do from here. All right, play out a Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Basic Island. I was not expecting that. They might, it's possible they're still on some form of like a breach deck. We'll see if that's what they're doing. Spell Bomb. Okay, so they're playing Saga. That's what that's telling us. And then Emery. Okay, so this is breach. Okay, so they're filling up their graveyard here. We have a lot of really good draws here. So our hope is something that gets us Yawgmoth or like an Endurance. We did not draw any of those cards. So we're going to lead sacking the peatland here. Okay. So that does not get us Yawg, unfortunately. It does get us an endurance. They have a grinding station in the graveyard. So they're going to be really close to trying to kill us. So I think we're going to leave up an endurance here. I'm debating whether I think I should fetch now just in case they spellbomb in response to something. Just so we don't get punished there. We are going to let them bring the grinding station back. Which is unfortunate. Or maybe I'm not. I'm not sure yet. I might not. I think I'm probably going to get rid of that. Tapping 1. Spellbomb, draw a card. Sure. Emery targeting the spellbomb. I'm going to Coordinate Response and get myself an endurance. I don't think this deck plays any main deck. Oh, I forgot. We only have 1 endurance in this list. Alright, we need to use this wisely. I don't think this deck has any main deck counter magic, so I don't think we have to be too concerned about that. Okay, a drum. I think they're relying pretty hard on this Emery to power them through here. And now we have them on a 2-turn clock, so if they can't kill us next turn, we'll just win from here. This is going to be 7, put them down to 6. I suppose they can leave the Emery back next turn as a blocker, but they are going to need to do that. I think this is probably a pretty important card for them. Alright, and they scoop. We're up a game. Good, good. Next card was an Evo, so we were going to be pretty good there. Sideboarding in this matchup, we're going to bring in 2 Crime Punishment, 2 Force of Vigor, all of our Endurances, and our Outland Liberator. We are going to board out. I'm tempted to board out this combo because I don't think it's very good against them, but I feel like that's not on brand to what we're trying to do here. We're going to board out some number of Grist. We're definitely going to board out some Hierarchs because we saw Ren in 6. I'm going to keep in Yawgmoth because they usually run Ragavan. I kind of want to board out Wolves or Geists, but at the same time, if they're running Ragavan and Ren in 6, I want the Geists to swing down Ren in 6s, and I want the Wolves to be able to block Ragavan. So we're kind of being pulled in 2 different directions here. I think because they're running Ren in 6 and they're a combo deck, we can shave the Innkeeper here. And then we need 2 more cuts. I wonder, do I need all of the Crime Punishments here? Maybe only 1? I feel like Crime Punishment's pretty good against them because it hits creatures too, but it is a little slow on the draw, so maybe we shave down to 1. And then maybe, what's the last cut? A Cord? We'll go with that. Alright, opening 7. This is an interesting hand. Like, at a glance, it looks terrible, right? It's way too many lands. It's really slow. But when you look at it in the context of 4 lands, a piece of artifact destruction, a Geist, and like one of our best cards against them, it actually is a little more intriguing. I still think this is going to be a mulligan, but I actually think this is really close. If we were on the play, I'd probably keep this. I'll mulligan here. And now this is just not good. We can't keep this, unfortunately. They're down to 5 cards. We're going down to 5 cards with them here. And this is better. We can keep this. So we'll keep 2 lands and 3 spells here. We have 1/2 of our Squirrel combo. We're happy about that. Go Squirrels. That's a combo too. Wall of Roots, Ivy Lane Denizen. We'll keep this. This hand's kind of slow though, so I actually think I might keep the Tomb. No, we'll get rid of the Tomb. I was thinking about keeping it just because I don't have a turn 1 play, but if I draw a 1-drop. Alright, yield through turn. They have no turn 1 play, and we have a bird. Bird is very nice. Play out a bird. This is going to get bolted, but it's fine. I'm guessing it's going to get bolted. Okay, nothing. If they have a Ren in 6, that's going to be really bad for us as well. Which it feels like they do. Ren in 6 is like, oh, you mulligan? It doesn't matter, because you're going to get all of those cards back. And we don't have a threat to pressure the Ren in 6, so it's really bad. Yep. Alright, so they've recouped a card already by killing our bird. And then they're going to get land back next turn. Ooh, that's not bad. Alright, we'll play out our Wall of Roots here. Next turn, we're going to play out our Endurance, cut them off of developing their mana more. But they are getting their value out of the Wrenn and 6 regardless, so kind of stinks. Alright, Saga, so we can Crime Punishment that. It's not too big a deal. Shadow Spear, sure. They're going to Wrenn and 6 plus, get a land back. Alright, so we know they have a Foothills in hand. Foothills and 2 Unknown. Moving to our turn. Grist isn't terrible, but I think we're going to get our Endurance down and Grist on the following turn. We are going to have to swing through some Saga tokens to hit this Wrenn and 6, unfortunately. I'm hoping they fetch now, and they don't, which kind of stinks. Play out our Endurance now. Cut them off of that land drop. And it looks like they're passing the turn from here. So they'll have a 2/2 Saga token. That in combination with a removal spell will be able to hit our Endurance down. We're kind of in a position where I feel like we need to build out our board state. We're going to attack the Wrenn and 6 here. Okay, they just let that happen. That's nice. And then from here, I think I'm going to play out the Boseiju. The Denizen is the more mana efficient play. The Grist, I think we just get the Denizen into play here. And we might have a reader here. What are you doing, bro? What are you doing? You're crazy. Man, you crazy. Alright, so they got a Saga token, sure. No big deal here. Oh, no squirrels for us this game. No squirrels. Our best draw from here is probably a land. And our hope, I guess they're going to Wrenn and 6 plus put the Saga back into play, which is going to be good for us. Because we can just CP for 0 and then swing down the Wrenn and 6. So that will be a pretty big swing, I think, as long as our Endurance survives. I think they tapped wrong here. I think they want to get Spell Bomb. So I think they should have left the Stomping Grounds. They should have tapped with the Stomping Grounds and left the Steam Vents up. So I think they made a little bit of a misstep there. That way they can protect their Wrenn and 6 if these tokens go away. Alright, here comes the Saga back. So as long as they don't cast another creature, this is going to work out really well for us. Is this a Ragavan? Dashed Ragavan? No, okay. Yeah, this is great for us. See if they pop the Bauble. Best case scenario is they forget. Oh, we were so close. So close. That would have been awesome. It would be great if they forget to pop the Bauble here. That would make me very happy. Forget to pop it. Forget to pop it. Oh, they didn't. Okay. They got us. Okay, and then we're going to attack down this Wrenn and 6 here. Your value has been had. Goodbye, Wrenn and 6. Okay, they're going to draw a card. They're going to go up to 5 cards here, so they do have the card advantage at this point. Iteration. Okay. I think our best draw from here, I mean, Yawgmoth would be great, as long as they don't have an Unholy Heat. And then, let's see what else would be good. Just like another land drop would be fine. Another Endurance. I guess land, we don't really want a land drop here. Endurance would be good, another one. Okay, so you're going to play out a Ledger Shredder, it seems, which is not a big deal. And pass the turn, I'm guessing? Yes, okay. Cool. Alright, so here I think we're going to get our Grist down. And then plus the Grist here. And I'm just going to leave the Endurance back and protect the Endurance from the Shredder. Next turn, if we draw a land, we can go Scurry Oak into Geist, and our board state will go pretty wide at that point. It will pump the Shredder, and then we can kill the Shredder. Or something else, depending on what they do. I'm really disappointed we didn't get this combo. We are 1 turn short of it this game. Alright, this is their second iteration. Obviously, if we draw into a Yawgmoth, we just jam that. If we draw something like an Endurance, we'll go Endurance. We'll go Geist on our turn, Endurance on their turn. Another Wrenn and 6, kind of annoying. They'll be able to get their Saga back again. Hail of Summer is a strange inclusion. I don't really, outside of Grist, I don't really have a reason to target them and have that be valuable for them, so that's a weird one. Okay, and from here, we're going to be able to swing down this Wrenn and 6 again. So I'm pretty happy with the line they took. Force of Vigor. That's not terrible. Our Squirrel might be pitch fodder here. We shall see. I think it might wind up being. So let me see here. If I go Geist minus the Grist, kill the Shredder, swing at the Renin 6. Sacrifice a creature. We're going to get rid of the Geist here. Alright, so we'll swing at Renin 6 for 4, them for 3. And then the question is, during the upkeep, do we pop this Force of Vigor, or do we wait for them to try to do something like a Breach? I think we're going to wait for a Breach. They have 6 cards in hand, so chances are they probably do have a Breach at this point. They've looked at a lot of cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not sure what this could be. Fury, okay. So they'll go 2 on Grist, 2 on Geist, I guess. Sure. Alright, Ignoble, not great. Probably going to leave the Ignoble back for the Force of Vigor here. So I think we'll cast the Squirrel out. And then I think I'm going to swing in with the Endurance and see what they do. See if they block here with the Fury. They do not. Okay, we'll pass the turn from here. The reason I didn't leave the Endurance back, they can equip Fury with Shadow Spear and swing in and hit us with a 4/4. So it doesn't make sense to block with Endurance. I would love for them to make that trade. It's unfortunate that they didn't. I think they're thinking about bolting the Squirrel. Alright, looks like Squirrel's getting bolted. Okay, that's fine. Okay, Saga is up to 3. If they just add mana here, that suggests to me that this is going to be a Breach turn. And they do just add mana. Get themselves a Mox Amber. An Emery. Alright, so they're going for the kill here, it seems. I don't think we're winning this game, but we're going to get as much information as we can from this point forward. Alright, there's the grinding station. Sure. Okay, here's the Breach. I'm not going to pop this Force of Vigor yet. I'm going to let them do their grinding station thing one time, and then we'll pop with the with all this on the stack. They have 1 card in hand. So adding a blue mana, they're going to activate the station. Bobble on the stack. Okay, so with Bobble on the stack, we're going to get rid of everything. And here I imagine they just bolt something. They don't really have anything else they can do. The only instants they have are Heat and Bolt, so they'll probably bolt down the Squirrel and then leave it at that. They really can't do anything with this blue mana. They could equip the Shadow Spear, which I guess would be fine as well. And they could activate the grinding station, I suppose. Opponent's taking quite a bit of time to think through their lines. I don't think they have many options though. Alright, Squirrel dies. Okay, they activate the grinding station, sacrifice it to itself. And they don't have anything they can use in their graveyard here. Breach goes away, and now they have 1 mana and a Bobble. Okay, we're going to take a hit for 6. The way we get out of this, I think, at this point, is probably drawing like a Yawg into something. Well, it needs to be like an Evo to get a Yawg. Okay, that's not it. I'm going to scoop it up. We're not winning this one. The table has turned. Okay. Game 3. I think we're going to bring in a second Crime Punishment on the play. And I don't hate Hapatra. Hapatra's okay. It's not that good. Honestly, I don't think this combo is very good against them. So I think we're actually just going to try to win this game as opposed to do... no, we'll keep it in. We'll keep it in. For the laugh out loud. I think we can cut a wolf on the play here, so we'll do that. We haven't seen a Ragavan at all, so maybe they're not playing Ragavan. Possibly. All right, opening 7, this is acceptable. We'll keep it. They keep a 7-card hand as well. All right, we'll play out our bird. If I can click on it, and then pass the turn. All right, Typhus, what you got? What you doing? Bird is going to die, I imagine. This hand does need some help. Definitely needs some help. It's a fine starting point, but we do need to draw into something. Okay, sequencing there a little bit weird. Unless they didn't have a second land. But I think you probably bobble... Well, no. Okay. Yeah, if they didn't have a fetch land, I think you probably just play out whatever was in your hand. Right, they're going to bobble me. See if they bobble me again. All right, here I think we're going to play Twilight Mirror and then just pass. And we're going to try to shut them off of an Emery line here. So I'm hoping they bobble again. Okay, and they do. Good. So we're going to try to invalidate this Emery here. And we don't want any more lands pretty much for the rest of the game here. This feels like a Wrenn and 6. If they sequence this improperly, which it feels like they are, oh, we're doing good here. All right, so they hit our bird. Good. And now let's see if they activate the Emery pre-combat. They don't. Okay. That would have been really good if they sequenced that improperly. We will be able to kill this Wrenn and 6, so I think we're in pretty good shape. Blood Artist, nothing special. All right, play at our Geist. We're going to swing 5 at the Wrenn and 6. The hope is they don't have another bobble in hand. I don't think they do. I think they would have played it out. Whoa, that's really strange. I don't know why they did that. That's a really weird play on their part. Huh. I guess they really want to get rid of this Geist. Just bolt it down. But that was really a weird play. I feel like having Emery in play is worth more than getting a counter on my Geist here. Okay, land tapped. Feels to me like they don't really have much going on here. More thinking. I think there was a consideration for me to force them to combo last game, just because of how much time they're taking. You know, time is a real thing. It's a real way to win a game, even though it feels a little grimy sometimes. You know, it's a part of competitive magic. If you take too much time, yeah, that's on you. That's a thing. We're gonna get a basic forest. I'm gonna play out my Blood Artist pre-combat for F6 value. I guess they do have a land untapped, so maybe that was a mistake, but yeah, it's probably right. We're gonna bring the team, put them on a 3-turn clock. I think they're probably gonna bolt the Geist here. I think, maybe. But if they were going to do that, they should have done it before the Blood Artist hit the table, so maybe not. All right, they're at 10. They're still taking a lot of time. We'll yield through the turn. Nothing to do on our end this turnaround. Casting a Fury here, sure. They discarded an Unholy Heat, sequenced improperly, or stacked their triggers improperly, so they're losing an extra point of damage here. You're down to 7 life, and I guess the Geist is gonna die now. Okay, so they pretty much just emptied their hand. I don't understand why they did that. It really doesn't make sense to me. They discarded an Unholy Heat and a Lightning Bolt, so I feel like it's almost better for them just to... Okay, they're hellbent. Yeah, I don't completely understand that approach. So we have a Chord of Calling. I guess the question is, what do we get from here? Or do we save it? Do I just draw a card with the Peatland and hope to draw into something decent? Or do I Chord right now and get a Geist and hit them down to 5? I think we're just going to put the pressure on them. It doesn't feel great taking this line, but I think this is okay. And then we'll redraw with the Peatland next turn. Liberator's also a consideration, but I think there's too much risk there if they draw into a removal spell. Now if they draw something like a Shredder, that would be unfortunate. And they scoop. We got there. 1-0. Squirrel Yawg. Let's go. We are back. Round 2. Squirrel Yawg. We are on the draw against xera, I think is how you pronounce that. We are 1-0, and we cannot keep our opening 7. We are going to mulligan, and they kept their 7. They've also revealed a Gigantha. I don't think we can keep our 6 either. I think we're going down to 5. And this is not very good either. If they have a Ragavan, we just lose. But I guess we'll keep this. And we got a bunch of 4-drops. I think we have to get rid of the Ivy Lane Denizen and the Baseju, I think. And we'll see what happens. Alright, so this is likely Breach again. if I had to take a guess. Could also be prowess, I guess. Either way, it's not good. They lead on a snow-covered island and pass the turn. Okay, no Ragavan turn 1, which is good. Go to our draw step. Another Blooming Marsh. We will play that out and then pass the turn. All right, at least we're going to curve out this game, our 3-drop into our 4-drop. They consider end of turn, so this is likely Fair Breach. Sacred Foundry into a Ledger Shredder, maybe? Yes. If they had that in their opener, it's weird that they used the Bauble turn 1, but I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. We don't want to draw any more lands. I'm gonna play out the Catacombs and fetch for an Overgrown Tomb end of turn. This is looking pretty bad for us. We are way behind the 8 ball to start off here. Let's see if they have another Bauble. They could just like bolt us. That would be fine. That would be reasonable as well. Put counters on both the Shredders. We're gonna play out the Grist and then it's just gonna pretty much die immediately. But I guess if we get a 1/1 out of it, it's okay. Okay, so they discard a Breach and a Bolt to these Shredders. We have 4 cards in hand. Take a hit for 2. We're going down to 18. We'll be at 17 end of turn because of our fetch here. Get our Overgrown Tomb tapped. Best draw from here is an Endurance, I think. Or just like an Undying Creature would be fine as well. Not a... Okay, we're flooding out. We've drawn nothing but lands up to this point. Play out our Grist, just try to stabilize our life total a little bit. If we get a double hit here, that would be wonderful. We do not. And the first non-land spell that we've seen so far this game is in the graveyard now. Alright, they lead off with a Consider during their upkeep, just trying to prime their draw step a little bit here. Alright, they're going to heat our Grist. They'll pump both their Shredders with the Channel ability, or the Connive ability. I swear, I promise, I used to be so good at knowing all the mechanics, all the names, and now my brain is just overloaded. It's just new stuff too frequently. It's so hard to keep up with. Look at this board state. This is ridiculous. They have 2 cards in hand. We're still not completely out of this if they can't kill our Yawgmoth. Like if we can go like green card, which we just drew, into an Endurance, we will have some sort of a chance. The hope is they don't have another Unholy Heat here. They've looked at a lot of cards already. There are 22 cards in their deck, so I'm guessing they have another one. So if they pop it off, our only out here is going to be like Insects, Sacrifice, target their Dragon's Rage, draw into an Endurance, flash in, hit their graveyard, and downtick one of their Shredders. Fortunately, we don't have to do that. But they're going to look at a ton of cards this turn. And if they have a Breach, which I think they very well might, okay, Iteration, sure. But if they have a Breach, it's just like game over if we can't find an Endurance. Thinking on this iteration here, put another Dragon's Rage into play. Sure, they'll connive. Did I say that right? They'll connive twice off these Ledger Shredders. So what does everybody think about Breach? Is this the next card on the chopping block? Does Breach get banned at some point in the near future? Feels like the format is starting to shift in Breach's direction. Like all of the best decks are playing copies of the card. Our Yawg survives. I'm okay with that. So we're not dead just yet. This is a hit for 7, 8. 8, so this is going to put us down to 5 life. So if we can draw Undyre into Cord, there's a chance. Can we do it? We will go down to 3 life if we do that, though. All right, there's 1. 1 Undyre. I suppose we can draw... All right, so they did have the heat here. So now we need to find ourselves an Endurance. All right, Endurance. Let's see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess we could still potentially draw an Endurance here. It's going to put us very low on life. I think we'll probably just lose from here, but I don't know that we'd necessarily have an out at this point. Like these Shredders are going to hit us for a lot. We would have been so close though. We actually would have won if they didn't have this heat, which is kind of crazy to think given the way this game has evolved here. Because we would have Young Wolf, sacrifice the Young Wolf, draw into the Chord of Calling. Well, I guess it would have been close. All right, we got to sacrifice this one more time here. Yeah, and that is not an Endurance. So we will concede the game. Endurance is so good. I don't understand why people feel that playing 1 is correct. The card is just so busted. I feel like Crime Punishment might be okay. Like CP for 1 or 2. I think Cleopatra's fine. Liberator's fine. Maybe. Maybe not Crime Punishment on the play. And then boarding out, I think we shave Ignobles and a Geist. Do it like this. Maybe a Grist. Grist feels fine. Doesn't feel too good. Maybe a Wolf. Yeah, Wolf feels a little underpowered as well. We're leaving our Squirrel combo in. We have not made any Squirrels as of yet, which is very disappointing. And it feels like these are not the matchups to be making Squirrels when they're so heavy on red removal. Oh, these hands are so bad. We have to mulligan this. Can't keep this one. We're going down to 5 again. All right, we'll keep this. And then we're gonna bottom 1. I would really love to keep this Endurance, but I think we have to get rid of it. We need the prospect of Yawgmoth in play, so I think we're gonna keep this 5. They keep a 7-card hand. I don't. Things are not looking up right now. Play out a Young Wolf and pass the turn here. So we need to pull land in our next 2 turns. All right, they lead on a Dragon's Rage. Feels like, all right, no bobble. That's good for us. Last game we only drew lands. We'll see if we can draw something here. Okay, get a land. We're gonna shock this turn. Play out our Wall of Roots. And I'll attack. I don't think they're gonna block here, so we'll take this opportunity. If they did block, I'd be okay with that, despite the fact that we have Yawgmoth in hand. All right, they go up to 2. Let's see if there's a Shredder. It is. Okay. All right, we got a shot. We have a chance. If we draw a Chord, that's best case scenario. All right, not a Chord. There's our Yawg, and we're going to hit down this Dragon's Rage right here. Can we find a Chord? Not a Chord. I wonder if we just draw more cards right now. Just recoup our loss. They are going to have to invest 2 cards to try to kill this Yawgmoth, so maybe we hold off for now. Feels like on their turn it's like iteration, fetch land into an Unholy Heat, and that probably gets the job done. All right, there's the fetch land. Oh, is this like a Teferi maybe? Another Shredder. Okay. So they play their land for turn, so we don't have to worry about that. Ragavan in the graveyard. Mishra's Bauble in the graveyard. So they have 4 card types now. Did we bring in Hepatra? I think we did, right? Okay, we did. We have Hepatra in the deck, so we'll be able to wipe their board next turn. So I think we're in pretty good shape. We should be able to get a kill this turn. All right, so I can go Bird, Evo the Bird, Bird minus get the Wolf, Evo the Wolf, get a Hepatra, sacrifice the Foothills, start dumping down their board, and then just try to kill them from there. Let's start there. I kind of want to keep the wall because it... All right, that's fine. The wall... Actually, the wall doesn't really matter. All right, I'm going to preserve my life here. Get rid of this Young Wolf. They're going to get triggers off these Shredders, which is fine. It's just more targets for us. I don't think we're going to kill the Shredders necessarily. It depends on what our life total looks like. All right, we'll get Hepatra. And we're going to start trimming these down here. 11. I'm just going to get a few more snakes before I just start targeting these Shredders straight up. Okay, that gives us a blocker here. 7. If they have like double bolt, we'll just lose. All right, we're just drawing lands straight up from here. We're down to 5. Liberator is not great. We have a kill next turn. I don't know that I want to necessarily go any lower. I don't think I want to play out the bird here. We're going to go down to 4. 4, and I'm going to swing with the Yawg here. Alright, our life total is in jeopardy, for sure. Really wanted to draw into like a Chord. That would have been best case scenario. Alright, so we're going to get rid of fetch lands. This. Okay. See what they do. If they have bolt, we just lose. Okay, iteration, sure. If they actually have 1 bolt, we'll lose. Because they'll be able to bolt us, and then the Shredder will swinging for lethal. Okay, Dragon's Rage, sure. Connive 2, sure. This is very touch and go right now. I suppose we can still draw into a Chord of Calling from here. And if they're not attacking, that's just like green light, they don't have it. Alright, yeah, we're gonna dump this down. Yawgmoth, sure. Alright, dodge a bolt. Land bolt. There's the land. They fetch. Feels like a bolt. Untapped. Lightning bolt. Oh, okay. Unholy Heat is perfectly fine. We are on board with that. Sure. It's weird they targeted the Hapatra and not the Yawgmoth. That's a little strange to me. Yeah, we just have the win from here. So, this is good. Alright, there's a Mold of 5. We got the W, so that feels good. Play out our Yavimaya so we don't take any more damage. Get our Yawgmoth. Evo that. We're going to get ourselves a Blood Artist. And this is game. And they scoop. Okay. Game 3. Didn't think we were winning that one. Game 3, game 3. Hopefully we can keep a 7-card hand this game. I'm going to bring Wolf back in. I think I'm going to cut a second Geist. And we'll go with that. Still no squirrels. We are squirrelless. This opening hand is a little sketchy. They keep... Do they keep? They mulligan to 6. So we anticipate the Hierarch dying. And then if we don't pull a second land... I think this is really risky, but I think I'm going to keep this. I don't love it, though. This is essentially like a 1-land, 6-card hand. Alright, they shock that in. For that reason, I'm not going to play out this Hierarch here. Alright, maybe I do with this bird. Yeah, I think we're going to play it out, just because I drew the bird. And this is one of those matchups where the Hierarch is worth less than the bird, so that's why I'm playing the Hierarch out first. Pretty clear that's what they were representing, so we knew that was going to happen. But this is a Shredder, I'm guessing. Okay. So they'll need to have 2 more removal spells next turn for our bird and our Dryad Arbor. Hopefully they do not. And if they do, chances are we're just going to lose. They have 4 cards in hand. Okay. Yeah, this is good for us. This is very good for us. Especially if they don't have another land drop. Yeah, we'll take a hit for 1. We're good with that. We could potentially get our Squirrel combo into play here. Next turn, can we do that? We are very close. So land was a good draw here. I could just get a Yawg in play, or I could set up for 1 more turn. I think because they have the Shredder, I'm actually going to get Yawg in play this turn. And then next turn, we'll go for the kill. So we can go with the Hapatra line next turn as well, depending on what they do. Right, their Hearse, they have a 2-2, 2-2 Hearse. They drew their 3rd land, 3 cards in hand. They fetch. We know they don't have an Iteration in hand. So it's a card we can check off our list just based on the way they're playing right now. Second Shredder, sure. Shredder into Ragavan, sure. So I think we might just have the kill from here. Or close to it at least. They have 1 card in hand. Alright, so that might actually give it to us. So we can go Wall of Roots, Evo the Wall of Roots, get a Hapatra, Chord for a Blood Artist. Let's see if this is good enough. Wall of Roots, Evo Dryad Arbor. Sure, you can connive. If they pump these, that's actually kind of good for us. So hopefully they do that. Alright, they pumped 1, pump the other one. Yes, excellent. Excellent. Can we get our Squirrel combo? Squirrel combo is definitely not the way to go right now because we'll be losing too much life off of it, but alright, yes, and we will have the mana to be able to chord for a Blood Artist here because we have the Endurance. Alright, there's a second chord. This should just lock things up, I think. Endurance, get rid of Geist. We'll see if they scoop with this. Put their graveyard back. 3, 4, 5, done. Get our Blood Artist, and then we will start dumping their creatures. Save targets. Having the way to kill them without needing to use our graveyard is so nice. Such a wonderful thing. Okay, we'll allow that to happen. Okay, now we can sacrifice the tapped one to get another untapped, and we start just mowing them down. I suppose that was a mistake. What I should have done is I should have killed both of the shredders with the endurance trigger on the stack. So that was a small misstep because this gives them cards in their graveyard. So, but ultimately it didn't matter, but just a point of something that's semi-important. 4, 8. We would have just had lethal here as well, so that's fine. All right, we're 2-0. All right, this is round 3 of our Modern League. We are facing against Kpst. We are on the play, currently 2-0. Let's go. Okay. Opponent reveals a Kaheera, so right off the bat we're thinking one of 2 decks, either blue-white control or elementals. Our opening 7 is strong. We're going to keep this, hoping that our Hierarch survives the first turn here. We'll lead on a Misty Fetch Basic and play out our Hierarch, and then pass turn. So this game potentially could be a turn 3 kill, I think, if I am not mistaken. No, likely a turn 4 kill, uninterrupted. Opponent goes Hallowed Fountain untapped, which means our Hierarch is going to die, unfortunately. Prismatic. Okay. And the fact they played out a Hallowed Fountain leads me to believe this is control, although it still could be elementals. So Scurry Oak is fine. You know, we could potentially have our second combo online with these Court of Callings. So we'll see if we get the chance to do that. That'd be fun to do that. They go Breeding Pool. All right, so they're playing a binding version of the deck. And this is going to be another prismatic ending here. So we do need to draw a land here, otherwise we're going to be in trouble. Land and drop our Scurry Oak. All right, that was not good. All right, we're in a bit of trouble. Unfortunate, they had answers to both of those things. All right, so this is elementals. Now if they play a Risen Reef, that would be very bad as well. So hopefully they do not. Oath of Nissa, sure. See what they reveal here. It always feels bad when you have like a really good opening hand and then you just stall on lands and then lose. All right, they have a Risen Reef in their hand off the Oath of Nissa, so they're going to be playing that out next turn. 5 cards in hand. Another Wall of Roots. Probably not what we wanted here. If we can get this to survive and then draw into a land our next turn, that would be great. But I don't know that that's necessarily what's going to happen here. I feel like, okay, another prismatic ending. Sure, there's 3 of them. So to me, that says they don't have a Solitude in hand, because I feel like if they had a Solitude, they cast the Reef there and then Solitude down the Wall of Roots. So that's our 3rd Wall of Roots. Let's see if this one survives. I think I would have just preferred a land at this point, but whatevs. So I have to imagine the Risen Reef's coming into play. And we're just really far behind at this point. Sure. Yeah, really weird play on their part too, because they did miss their land drop last turn. So I feel like playing out the Risen Reef last turn was probably the right play. So they play land untapped, which to me says they might have an Ephemerate, which isn't great for us. All right, so I can play out the Birds of Paradise, which probably gets bolted. I can play out the Scurry Oak, which probably gets bolted. So I think we just go birds here. And then we'll cord for a 1-drop. And if they don't kill it, we'll cord for a 2-drop on their turn. Okay, they didn't kill it. It's weird they played that Foundry out untapped. I'm not exactly sure why they did that. Okay, Wrenn and 6, so they're going to bolt the bird. Have to imagine. And from here, we're going to cord for 2. The question is, what do we get from here? There we go, Innkeeper. Innkeeper guarantees me mana. So it does get knocked down with the Wrenn and 6 next turn. But I could always just get like a Court of Calling for a Geist and then swing in. We're out of walls. Maybe I just get a Geist. I feel like Geist probably has the highest upside, so we'll go with that. So there's the chance my wall gets bolted here too. It's really strange like what they're doing over there. Huh. So I can go Young Wolf and then get a 3-drop on their turn. Or I could go Scurry Oak and then go Infinite on the following turn. All right, maybe we start with an attack and then go from there. Attack into the Wrenn 6, see if they do anything about it. They don't have any lands in their graveyard, so the Wrenn 6, whether or not it's actually good or not, is questionable. Okay, they just let it die. I'm going to get a wolf into play, and we're going to cord for a 1-drop on their turn, I think. Or we can get Innkeeper again. So they have 5 mana up. Let's see what they do here. 5 cards in hand. Okay, there's a Fury. Now if they go Fury Ephemerate, it's just going to be game. Discard an Yawgmoth there. Quite a few triggers going on the stack. Okay, and I think they stacked this incorrectly if they do have an Ephemerate, which they do. Yeah, they stacked their triggers wrong. Sure, you can Ephemerate. Okay, and they're hitting the same creatures again. So with this, I'm going to Evo or a Cord and get myself an Innkeeper here. And this gives us a chance to get back in the game here. So based on the fact that they stacked those triggers wrong, depending on what they have in their hand, we'll see. Okay, they have an Endurance in their hand, so they don't get punished, despite the fact that they should be getting punished. I mean, obviously well, maybe they drew the Endurance. Maybe they did, but they definitely did not take the right line there. Okay, so they're going to have an Ephemerate on this Fury on their next turn, so we're going to have to just hit the pause button for a turn, unfortunately. And we will probably be courting, probably getting another Geist, if I had to imagine. I think we're so far behind at this point, we're probably just going to lose from here, but this is what we kind of have to do, playing to our outs. I wonder if they just Ephemerate the Risen Reef, and they do. Nobody views Innkeeper as a threat. It'd be nice if we had Patron in the main deck right now. That would actually give us an out to just run them over. This feels like another Risen Reef. Okay, this is an Yawgmoth. Now they're just turning so much value, it's pretty much game over. Play out a Misty, they'll fetch, get a Forest into play, have 4 mana. This current build, the way the sideboard is right now, we have 3 Thoughtseize in the sideboard, which is going to be very, very strong against this style of deck. Take 4, Bolt there. I feel like they're almost just better off just 3, 6, 9. This is 9. Okay. I'm going to fetch and gain a life here. We're going to get a Yawgmoth into play. Tapping 3 mana, a Teferi. Okay. I'm going to scoop this one up. I think we've seen enough. I think we have all seen enough. No Squirrel combo for us. Game 2, I'm going to bring in Hapatra and Thoughtseizes. And probably not Shieldred. Although it was a card I was thinking about. I'm going to bring in Endurance too. Might even bring in 2. We'll see. Cards we're getting rid of. Definitely getting rid of at least 1 Yawgmoth, probably 2. Innkeeper is medium. Birds are medium. So I think we'll get rid of those. And we'll run with this 60. We'll do it. See if we can get them back for that one. Not a deck you see too often these days. After Yorion got banned, this deck fell off pretty hard. These styles of decks. Okay, opening 7 I think is a keep. We do need this wall to survive though, or we need to hit a 3rd land drop. They're mulliganing down to 6 cards. Okay, play out our land and play out our Yawgmoth and pass the turn. The reason we're leading Overgrown Tomb there is because we're likely going to have to shotgun in next turn, and if we're taking 2 off the peat land and then 2 off the tomb next turn, we're down on life as of at least 1 life. So this is the more efficient play from a life total perspective. We'll swing for 1, and then we're going to play out our wall and hope to dodge a Solitude Ephemerate here. And if they do have that line available to them, we're likely just going to lose. So the hope is we draw a land next turn, and we can Thoughtseize and cast a Grist out. This feels like a Wrenn 6 here. It is. Okay, and they uptick. We were hoping they downtick there. We'll still be able to get rid of this Wrenn 6 though. We can swing with the Wolf and then minus with the Grist. We have 6 cards in hand, we know 1 of them. Alright, not what we wanted, but we'll get our Grist into play here. This was, from a sequencing standpoint, a mistake. I should have done this post-combat. I'm not exactly sure why I did it pre-combat, but that was a mistake. Sack our wolf, kill the Renin 6. Really wanted to hit a land drop there, so we're leaving ourselves pretty vulnerable to a number of different cards they can have in their deck. Grist is gone, sure. Okay, play a land and pass the turn. Moving to our next turn. Not the land we wanted. We're taking quite a bit of damage off our lands at this point. I think we're going to lead with an attack for 2. No, once again a mistake, most likely. I should have... Maybe. It might have been a mistake. I think I lead Thoughtseize there before I do anything, as opposed to attacking. And then depending on what we see, either play out the Hierarch and attack for 3, or take another line. So here I think I'm going to hit the call. It's weird they have explosives in their deck. And then I'm going to get rid of the Yawgmoth, get a Grist, and then try to get rid of this Omnath next turn. Get rid of the Wolf, get another Grist, and then we'll have Yawg play the turn after. Strange they're fetching basics as well. Not sure why they're doing that. So they can play out the EE for 0. I wonder if that's the line they take. There's a Misty. They can play it out for 3. Renin 6, okay. That was a good draw. Definitely a good draw. Ping our Insect. Uptick, get back a Flooded Strand, sure. Alright, so we have perfect information here. We know what they're working with. Alright, Endurance was not bad. So we're going to lead Uptick. And I think we might just ignore this Renin 6 at this point. I think we just have to get them dead. So that's the game plan here. They will be able to kill the Yawg on our turn because, well, on the following turn, I guess, because they can Omnath, fetch, and cast EE for 4. Like, we have perfect information here. I don't know what they're thinking about exactly. So our opponent had some connection issues. They are back. We're going to lead with an attack for 1. I wonder if that's even worth it. I wonder if we just hit the Renin 6. They're going to be gaining life off the Omnath. The way we're winning this game might just be comboing. So maybe we hit the Renin 6. It's unclear. Unclear what the move is here. I think we're going to hit Renin 6. No, I think I'm going to attack them. I think this is really close. I'm not sure what the right move is here. We're taking so much damage off these lands here. We only have a handful of activations with our Yawgmoth, unfortunately. So as it stands with their hand, they're going to be casting Omnath into Expressive Iteration, unless they draw something else. If they draw like an Elemental, that will certainly change things, but they have 2 unknowns. Flooded Strand we knew about. They fetch. We'll see if this is the EE or if they drew into something relevant here. Feels like the EE based on the fact they got Basic Island. If they drew into a Prismatic Ending, that would be pretty bad for us. Okay. EE for 3, so I guess they're going for the Grist here, which I think we're okay with. Sure. Then I wonder if they uptick the Renin 6, and with that, I think there's a line to potentially drop this Endurance. Yeah, I think we're going to take this. Dump the Omnath down 1. And they do not have another fetch land that we know about. They do have a Hollowed Fountain. Alright, let's see what we got. Court of Calling was a very good draw. Okay, so from here, we can get ourselves a Blood Artist. We can get ourselves a Hapatra. I think Hapatra's up there. I do kind of want a way to gain life as well. Very close what we get. Could also just get another Grist. I feel like Hapatra is more value though. Oh, I didn't mean to play that out. Leave with a fetch. I'm going to take a look at my list here while I'm fetching. Hapatra plus Scurry Oak is also a... No, it's not. I think we get our Dried Arbor. This is 5. Kind of want to attack down this Renin 6, but there's 2. Alright, we're going to get ourselves a Hapatra. And the hope is we can find, all right, that's actually really, really good. That's very important right now. All right, we didn't draw anything too good. I'm gonna swing into this Wrenn and 6. I'm gonna crack one of these peat lands as well. The Seiju doesn't really do anything. I think I'll play out Yawgmoth and then pass. Oh, did I play a land already? I guess I played a land already. Okay. We'll pass the turn. Oh, I got the Dryad Arbor. Right. Okay. So let's see what they have from here. This is 4 mana, 3 mana. Okay, Kaheera, sure. Play out a land. Tapped. Ping me for 1. Sure. I'm down to 4. If they have a bolt in hand, we are getting into dangerous territory. Okay, we have another land. Alright, so we need to swing down Wrenn and 6, them. I'll put a counter on one of our snakes, so we'll just make another snake here. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Play out a Yawgmoth, and then we're going to pass the turn. I know I can crack the peat land. I'm going to hold off 1 turn for that one. Okay, a Teferi, sure. Send Yawgmoth back, sure. We are in a little bit of a predicament in terms of being able to play that again, but okay, we might just be dead here if they have a lightning bolt in hand, which I think they do, based on the way they're playing here. Land. Okay, maybe they don't. Maybe they don't have a lightning bolt. They're just trying to put themselves in that position, I guess. All right, so we're going to swing down. We need to swing down Wrenn and 6. We need to swing down this Teferi. We know one of their 2 cards. Attack Teferi. Attack Wrenn and 6. Attack Wrenn and 6. And attack them. Okay, we'll dump one of our guys again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Might have been a consideration to put our Wall of Roots out of commission. Might have been a little mistake there. Here I think we crack our peat land to start. Yeah, that might have been a mistake, but we'll save that for next turn. Play out another Wall of Roots and pass the turn. So we have lethal if they don't cast anything. We know about one of the cards in their hand. We actually know about 2 of the cards in their hand. We know they have Kaheera and we know they have Hollowed Fountain. This is the Kaheera, sure. There's the Hollowed Fountain, sure. They have 2 cards left. 2 cards. We drew another Yawgmoth. Not what we want. Lead on a Geist. Move to attacks. We'll leave our Hapatra back. If they have something like an Endurance, I don't think that's that big a deal. That will be fine. They're down to 4. Okay. I'm going to play out of Foothills and pass the turn. So I can fetch that, get another Overgrown Tomb. Okay, they conceded. I didn't think we were winning that one. We got there. I thought they had a bolt. Oh, Squirrel was next. Alright, game 3. This is close. I think we keep the same 60. Just run it back. Let's go. Alright, they can mulligan to 6. If this Ignoble and this Blood Artist were lands, this hand would be excellent, but it's not, so we have to mulligan it. And this 6 is fine. I can run with this. We'll keep this, and I think we ship back the Ignoble. This hand's a little slow, but I think it's okay. Land tapped, sure. They're down to 5 cards. If they have a Wrenn and 6, we will gladly take that out of their hand. We'll see if that's what their hand is hinging on. Call, Solitude, and Teferi. So they don't have too much. I think we just take the... Call gets them a Risen Reef. I feel like that's probably the card to take. Because Risen Reef generates so much advantage if we don't have an answer to it, which we don't right now, so I think that's where we want to be. We'll let them keep a Solitude. I really would have liked to have drawn a 2-drop there. We'll play out our Foothills and pass the turn from here. They're going to have Teferi in play next turn. I wonder if they downtick the Teferi with the prospect of a Dryad Arbor coming into play. They fetch with their Fledged Strand. They get themselves a basic island. There's the Teferi. They have 3 cards in hand. We know one of them. And they uptick. They fear the Dryad Arbor. Alright, we'll fetch here. We're going to get a Tomb tapped. And Geist was not a bad draw. So Geist will swing into the Teferi, put it down to 3, and then pass the turn. So if they do want to kill this Geist, they will be sacrificing their Teferi from this point. And if not, we can Evo and get ourselves a Yawgmoth. Alright, they plus there. See if they have another land drop. They do. Untapped. So this suggests that they have, okay. I was gonna say they had a like an Omnath, but I guess not. They have 2 cards in hand. We know one of them. I guess the reason you can do this too is because you can put the Kaheera into your hand, so that does make sense. They get a breeding pool, sure. And they don't take the Kaheera. It's a little strange. All right, we draw into Beseju. I think we're gonna lead with an attack here. Attack the Teferi, sure. Put that down to 2. And the question is, do we, I think we Evo this away. So they're not representing endurance, so I think it's safe for us to take this line. There we go, okay. And now if they want to solitude it, we'll be able to kill the solitude. All right, they untap, they draw, play out their breeding pool, we knew about that. They have 5 mana up for their solitude. And now they're going to be priced into making a play here with the solitude. If we can get rid of the Teferi, that would be great. All right, they're doing this right now. Turn off auto yields. They put Kaheera into hand. Okay, sure. All right, we draw. The biggest problem we face is not being able to cast these things at instant speed. So I think we have to start with our chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then go from there. Or maybe we chord, I think we just chord for 4. Okay, there's the Solitude, we knew about that. Discarded Kaheera, they have 2 cards in hand. They're gonna exile our Yawgmoth. All right, we're gonna respond to that. Okay, and they're going to bolt, sure. All right, minus on the Solitude here. Drew another Yawgmoth. Let the bolt resolve. Let that first counter resolve. They stack their triggers wrong again. So we'll see if they do something from here. They don't. Okay, there goes our Yawg. Okay. And then our chord for 1 is going to resolve. We'll get a Yawgmoth here. Actually, do we get a Yawgmoth? We have 4 mana. Yes, we will get a Yawgmoth. And then what I can do is I can actually Evo the Yawgmoth into a Grist, and I think that might be worthwhile. Get ourselves a Grist plus the Grist, and we'll pass the turn from there. So they need to be able to answer all of these cards. They have 2 cards in hand. Draw into an Omnath. Okay, that's good. Definitely solid. I think they bounce the Grist here. That's probably the move. They bounce their Oath of Nissa. Interesting. I guess they're looking for a land. Let's see if they hit one. I only have 5 minutes left on the clock. I need to start paying attention to that. I didn't realize I was so tight. They find another Omnath. Okay. From here, I think, okay, they have a land. Do they have a Fury? Tapped, 4 mana. They play out their second Omnath. They don't. Okay. They have 3 cards in hand. Yield through the turn. So this is good for us. All right, so I think we lead on a plus with the Grist, and then from there, play out our Yawg. And now we go a little ham. All right, that's really good. Minus, so we're a quarter calling off from just killing them at this point, I think. Blooming Marsh, not great. We'll go down to 14. Cast our second Yawgmoth. I do need to pay a little attention to my life total here. I think we're safe to go down to at least 10. Ivy Lane Denizen. So that can make one of our creatures infinitely big if our Yawg is in play next turn. Go down to 9. Okay, now if we find a chord, we just win. I wonder if I go a little further. Go down to 8. Okay, I think we stop there. We'll leave it at that. And I'll discard a land here. All right, there's their land, first land drop of the turn. They fetch, they're gonna have 5 mana. How many creatures do we have in our graveyard? We have 3. Not threatening lethal right now. This feels like a Fury. Okay, there's a Fury, sure. They have 2 cards in hand now. Okay, I think I'm gonna draw a few more cards here. See if they have like an Endurance or something. They're thinking. I'm gonna draw 1 more here. Okay, another land. Okay, I think we have to let this happen. Okay, so we know they have another Omnath in hand. Okay, we draw into a chord, which is pretty good. Chord is good. So from here, I think we plus, and then I think I'm gonna play out a fetch land, Oh, that was a mistake. I should have played out the Denizen first. I think that was the right move. 2, 3. I'm tight on time. I need to start playing faster. Play out the Denizen here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play out the Hierarch. We're down to 5 life. And I'm going to start pumping one of these insects. We'll make a big insect. Okay, we can actually go infinite here, so I think we're going to do that. Okay, so they get a call. We'll see what they do. What they get. So the line from here is going to be to get an endurance, cord, bring back the scurry oak, and then just go infinite. We'll see if we have time to do this all though. Fury, we'll see what they target. Okay. Scurry oak into play. Always yes. Always yield. Save targets here. All right, we're doing it. Squirrels aplenty. This is awesome. All right, we're just gonna keep going for a little bit here. How many should we make? 60, 70, 80? Moto stopped me there. Moto had enough of my shenanigans. All right, we'll turn off auto yields. Okay, yield, yes. And we'll put a counter on one of our squirrels. I think that's enough. Unless they have a way to wipe the board, I think we're good here. Let's see if they have an EE. Can you beat this board state? We shall see. Oh, we know their last card. Their last card's an Omnath, so they're going to cast Omnath. They're going to draw, try to find the EE, and then hope that that's good enough. Does not appear it is. Okay. Move to our turn. Move to combat. And we will attack with everybody. And then yield from there. See if they can beat that. And we win. All right. That was awesome. 3-0. We are back. Round 4 of our Modern League with Squirrel Yawgmoth. We are playing against DeamonDeacon. We are currently 3-0 and on the draw, and we have a mulligan on our hands. Again, lots of mulligans this league. This 6 is definitely not great, but I think it's a keep, and I think we're going to ship our second tomb. No, I think we have to ship the swamp. And we'll see how this goes. Hopefully not a turn 1 Ragavan. No companion from the other side of the table. They lead on Flooded Strand. Pass the turn. Okay. I'm okay with that. Another land. Definitely not what we want. Play on our Verdant Catacombs. Pass the turn from here. I said Verdant Catacombs. I meant Overgrown Tomb. They fetch out of Steam Vents. Tapped. Go on to their turn 2. Aspire Bluff Canal. I wonder if this is Murktide. It is. Or it seems it is. It's weird they didn't have a turn 1 play in any capacity. Okay, we're flooding out hard here. I'm going to fetch here, get a basic. I'm going to thin our deck out a little bit. A little obnoxious that we draw land on a hand where we really don't want more lands. Okay, we'll play on our Strangleroot Geist, and we will pass the turn from here. And we're really far behind at this point, so there's not really... I'm not optimistic about our chances, but I guess if our opponent makes a mistake, they tap out, we'll have a shot, but I think we're really far behind right now, so it's going to be tough. Opponent leads basic into Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. And I imagine they're going to cast a second card this turn, which will leave... They might not. Okay. Just because they have the Shredder, I would think that they would do that, but not the line of play they're looking for. They'll hit us for 1 here. Okay. Fine with that. No blocks, clearly. And the intra-combat Consider. Riddle me this. Consider me that. Alright, so they have the Connive trigger, discard a land, so we're only taking a hit for 1. They'll also have the Surveil, another land. Lots of lands. I'm just amazed every time I play against this deck how quickly they fill up their graveyard. They kept a card with the Consider. Alright, that is not a good draw for us. If they have some sort of direct damage spell, that's almost like more of a liability than an asset. But I think I'm actually going to bait that just because I want my Court of Calling to resolve. That'll be pretty bad though. If they do bolt EOT here, which it looks like they're going to. Yes. So they're gonna get a Connive trigger again for the Shredder. They're really filtering their draws at this point. But I'm gonna get a Yawgmoth here. They have 3 cards in hand. I can't imagine this Yawgmoth is going to survive on their turn. Or resolve on their turn, I should say. Let's see what they discard. Discard another land. Get our Yawgmoth. Alright, bird dies. Now we are moving back to their turn. As it stands, their clock is not very fast. It looks like they might have clicked through their combat phase. They did not cast anything, and we're just drawing more lands. I don't even think we have fetchables for all of these. We're just going to play out the Catacombs and pass the turn. And the reason I'm playing Catacombs as opposed to the Tomb is just because I want to fetch and thin one more time. There's very few lands I can fetch, and I just don't want to draw any more lands. We'll see what they do here. Looks like an attack with the Shredder, maybe? Our best draws from this point are going to be Court of Calling and Endurance. Grist is medium. We want a double spell to get something to resolve, and the best way for us to do that is an instant speed threat. So I have to imagine that they have a counter spell in hand. Keep a card on top, sure. A whole lot of nothing going on our side of the table. Okay, they're going to play an Expressive Iteration. If they don't have another land, like if they whiff on lands, we might get lucky. Put DRC into their graveyard here. If they make a mistake and tap out, I have to imagine they have a counter spell though. A Ragavan. Did they miss on land? Oh, we are going to get lucky here. I think our opponent made a pretty big mistake forcing that iteration and assuming they were going to hit a land. They binned a lot of lands really early in the game, so I think we are very fortunate here. All right, we're going to take a pretty big hit here. We're going to go down to 12, but now we do have a window that we can abuse. And I think we're going to try to take advantage of this. Draw, we got a bird. All right, so from here, we're going to lead on our Yawg. And they have a Heat in the graveyard. I have to imagine they have another one in their hand at this point. Like they have 22 cards that they've accessed. So I'm going to wait for them to fetch, and then I'm just going to try to kill them from there. Let's see if they do it. If they punt here. Fetch, fetch. Oh, they did. Okay. All right, so our Dried Arbor is our last fetchable. That's why I'm doing that now. And now we just need to find a chord. If we find a chord, we win. And I'm going all in on this. Just because I think this is our one opportunity. We got 7 draw steps to find one. Could also find an Endurance, which would buy us some time. Okay, that buys us a little bit of time. So that might be reason to pause. All right, I think I'm gonna go down to 7 here. Oh, okay, we got it. Wow, we got lucky. Nice. Yeah, our opponent, I think, punted pretty hard there. I think they made some pretty big errors. They gave us openings when we should not have had them. Blood Artist, and this will do it. Save targets here. Our opponent, it seems, is going to make us click through it, but we'll just be looping, targeting an Undying creature with the other one, sacrificing it to Yawgmoth's ability, triggering the Blood Artist, draining and gaining for 1 every time through. And the beauty of this is we can do this all at instant speed. So with a deck like Murktide, we can kind of work around the removal, as we did in this case when our opponent fetched. So we are golden here. Opponent took some greedy lines and they are paying the price. I'm not trying to be mean, but I'm just telling the truth. I'm gonna do the whole loop, scoop. I don't foresee our opponent scooping, but type it in there. JIC, just in case. Okay, and they did. Okay. DeamonDeacon, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right, so from here we have our endurances, what we will be bringing in. I will be bringing in. So the configuration of this sideboard is quite different than what I normally run. I think I'm going to be bringing some number of Thought Seizes. And I'll bring in Hepatra. I normally don't love Hepatra in this matchup, but I'll bring that in too. Shieldred's a maybe. Is Shieldred better than Hepatra? It's kind of it's like a must counter. We'll bring it in. Yeah. I don't love, I'll get Hepatra. I like having early threats here. Cards I'm going to be boarding out. We're going with 3 Ignoble Hierarchs and 3 Eldritch Evolutions. Simple enough. Let's go. Game 2, we are back on the draw. Was that a 6 or a 5 card opener we had the last game? Kept a 5 card, but a 6 card, but it was medium. All right, this 7 is also medium, not having a 1-drop. If they have a Ragavan, we lose. Like, is that healthy saying that? If they have a Ragavan, we lose? Like, should you lose games on turn 1 like that? Steam Vent Shock, so they're playing, assuming that we have a 1-drop here. I wonder if I tomb. I'm debating here, do I fetch, get a basic swamp, and Thoughtseize them? Or do I just play out the Tomb Shock and Thoughtseize them? I think I'm going to Tomb. I think unless I pull land off the top, I'm going to wind up, this feels like Spell Pierce, consider. Okay, that's strange that they're firing that off now. There's a card they want on the top. They're going to be drawing that, so a little awkward. All right, and they do have a Ragavan. I think that's the card we're going to take. I do not want them to be in a position where they can start hitting us with that. So we're going to hit the Ragavan, and we'll pass the turn. I'm wondering if they drew that off of the Consider. Otherwise, otherwise I don't know why they don't just play that out, right? All right, so we know 4 of the cards of their hand. 4 of the 5. Drew a fetch land. I'm just going to play the fetch land out and then pass the turn from here. I'm not going to run my Hepatra into the Spell Snare. It just facilitates their game plan too much. We're going to be a little more patient here. All right, and they're just jamming an Iteration. I guess they need to hit a land drop. We'll see if they do or they don't here. Flooded Strand, they do. They fetch. Basic Island. You see what they did there? They're fetching now while I don't have the opportunity. I think they learned their lesson from the last game here. That's pretty funny. Okay, and from here, I'm going to fetch again. Get our other tomb tapped. I do acknowledge that they could get us with a Blood Moon, but I'm kind of playing around that now with this line. Getting a swamp, I'm going to have the forest. Okay, so they think they could Spell Pierce this. That does not work. I will inform them that this is a creature, so you cannot Spell Pierce it. Plus, Innkeeper goes to the graveyard. So there is a consideration to just dump their graveyard here and now, but I think we're going to wait a turn. It's another reason not to run the Hepatra into a Spell Snare. We have this up for our Endurance if we need to pitch it. Opponent has 7 cards in hand. Let's see if they pull their land that they are desperately looking for right now. Okay, Scalding Tarn, sure. Let's see if they fetch now. And Holy Heat, 4 card types. I think we're going to use our Endurance now. Basically a Force of Will. Counter target Unholy Heat. So they're playing this game on our terms and not playing it on their terms. Like, they're being a little impatient with their plays, and I think they're really getting punished as a result of that. Okay, and they're fetching now. We'll see if they have like another Bolt or something. It appears that they do, which is fine. Now this gives us an opportunity to stick something, which we won't be able to utilize, unfortunately. We don't really have any good 2-drops, I don't think. Let me just check the list. We have a Geist we could get. We really want to get like a 3-drop. Yeah, best 2-drop we can get is just a Geist. So I think we just leave it at this and attack, then pass the turn. We know they have Counterspell. We know they have Spell Snare. The Endurance line was pretty aggressive. Maybe I shouldn't have taken that. All right, there's a Shredder, sure. And they are representing a Spell Pierce. We knew that they tried to counter, they did try to counter something earlier in the game as if they had Spell Pierce, so we can't play into that. I'm just going to play out our land, pass the turn. We'll see if they tap down low here. We're likely going to chord for a Yawgmoth at some point. Okay, I'm going to chord for Yawgmoth now. See if they allow this or not. Okay, they fire off a counter spell. So the fact that they have spell snares in their hand, a little willing to fire that off. That seems a little abrupt. I'm going to start with an attack here. Play out a Yawgmoth, see if they counterspell this. They did not. And I'm just going to pass the turn. We're ahead on life as it stands. If I can pull something like a Thoughtseize or something like that, be able to pave the way for my Yawgmoth. This feels like a Murktide, so it's going to be a 6/6. And we're going to go down to 12 life. So we're on a 3-turn clock right now. 2 turns after this. Know about Spell Snare. Endurance, not bad. I think we're going to play that out now. See if they fire off a counterspell on this. If they do, that will be great. If they're thinking about it, they don't. Okay. I'm going to shuffle this stuff back into our library. Best draw from here is probably Thoughtseize. And that is not a Thoughtseize. We're going to hold that for now. And then just pass the turn. Okay, they lead Bobble, sure. Okay, they attack. I'm going down to 6. I think we're likely just dead here, but we're going to play it out. They have 5 cards in hand. Chord of Calling. What can I get with a chord? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, I can chord for 2, but they did represent Spell Pierce earlier in the game. But I think we're going to try that. We'll see what they do here. Okay, there's the counter spell we knew about, or assumed we knew about. They're going to get a Connive trigger off this. They probably have an Archmage's Charm too, but we're gonna go for this. This is our line. Okay, another counter spell. All right, they got us. All right, game 3, we're going to be on the play. Our hands haven't been very good up to this point, so I feel a little bit better now that we're on the play here. On the play, we get a decent hand. I think we can do some stuff. Okay, game 3, let's go. All right, I like this hand. I like it a lot. We're going to keep it. Best case scenario, we pull a basic swamp in one of our first couple draw steps, or a way to get a basic swamp. Start with the Yavimaya, play out our Yawgmoth, pass the turn. Like if our next draw is basic swamp, that's just like perfect. Bobble, Strand, Bobble. See if they do what they're supposed to do here. They bobble me to lead, sure. I think you bobble yourself first to see if you want to draw the top card or not. Okay, Peatland. That's close to basic swamp. I'm going to lead by playing out the Wall of Roots just because if they have a Spell Snare, which it seems like they might. Okay, so they have a Spell Snare, and because they are doing that, I'm not going to attack with the Yawgmoth just in case they have a Ragavan. So this is fine. I wonder how many Spell Snares they're playing in the deck. Feels like it should be like a 1 of. So they had it last game. We'll see if they have more than 1 this game. Strange they didn't bobble again. They have 5 cards in hand. Okay, they play out a land, just pass the turn. Sure. All right, that's another good draw. I like that because I did not want to play out my Overgrown Tomb untapped because it just telegraphs the endurance in my hand. So having this lets me play out a land. I don't have to play out the Wall of Roots, and I can still have endurance up. So we don't have to represent anything. We can just do our thing here. So attack, they're down to 16. They look at the top card of my library, their library, I'm not sure. All right, I'm in endurance now because they're tapped out. And they have a pretty substantial graveyard at this point. We'll regulate that. Draw a card, they're up to 6 cards. And now this puts quite a bit of pressure on them to do something. So I think they're incentivized to tap down low on their turn. Okay, they play out a Ragavan, sure. It really doesn't mean anything to us. And from here, I think we attack. We'll attack with both. No, we'll attack with the endurance here. Okay, they take the hit. Play out the Wall of Roots first. And I will play out my Geist. The way we get punished here is if they go dress down into the board wipe, Brotherhood's End, I think it's called. I'm okay with the counterspell here. This is fine. I was anticipating that. I was anticipating them having a counterspell and countering one of the two cards. So that's a-okay by us. They're still really far behind on board, so they do need to do something. All right, Shredder, sure. See if they have another land drop. And if they don't, might just be GG for our opponent. They don't. Okay, yeah. And this is what I was referring to, feeling pressured to have to do something. So we'll play out our Foothills. And then our Yawg is going to be entering the fray. And I'm going to leave this peatland up just so I have the ability to crack it if I want to. I think we're going to start by attacking with Endurance here. Depending how they block, I am likely going to sacrifice this Yawgmoth to take them off of something. Right here. I'm not too concerned about this Ragman having Yawg on board, so I'm going to start with the Ledger Shredder in terms of chipping it down a little bit. And we'll start there. Wooded Foothills represents a creature as well. Very, very important, very useful. And now they have to do something. They're just so far behind at this point. Our opponent is not in a good place. Physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally. This game is not going their way. No good. All right. Okay. Explosive Zone 1, sure. I'm not sure they understand how this works here. All right, we're going to fetch now. Get our Dryad Arbor. And we're going to draw a card here. All right, and Cord just represents lethal at this point. I think I brought in... Okay, I did bring in Hepatra, so I'm actually going to bait this here. The way I'm going to do this is I'm going to target my Yawgmoth, sacrifice the Dryad Arbor. I think they pop the EE in response. Yes. Okay, and now I'm just going to Cord. I wonder if we just get Hepatra. I'm trying to figure out, is Hepatra or Blood Artist better here? So if I get Blood Artist, I put them down to, I think we just get a Hepatra. I think Hepatra is just, yeah, so this is called baiting your opponent. I thought they were going to pop the EE, but this works fine too. All right, and that's pretty good. Okay, I think this board state is adequate. Sure, you can have a dress down. We're going to play out a basic, play our Blood Artist, and now you are dead. Yeah, because we can do this just EOT, dress down goes away, and now we just drain them out from here. 4-0. All right, we got there. Nice. All right, everybody. Here we go again. Corvin _ MTG, mulligans to 6 cards. They are on the play. This is round 5 of our Modern League, playing for the 5-0. This is our 3rd or 4th league in a row, going 4-0. Currently 0, and we haven't gotten a 5-0, so no good. This is a mole. We're going down to 6. And our 6-card hand, this is enticing. This is very enticing. I think we're gonna keep this just for the LOL factor of it. Like not having a play until turn 3 though is just really bad, but I think we're gonna get rid of the Cord. Try this. Like we want to draw 1-drop. If we can draw 1-drop, we're okay. They lead on a Windswept Heath and pass the turn. We draw not a 1-drop, that is bad. Play our Misty, pass the turn. See what they're doing over there. This could be a mirror match. We don't know. We don't know what they're doing. They fetch, and they get that thing. All right, I wonder, this could be the Walls deck. I wonder if that's what they're doing, which is like Walls and Blinking, and probably not a good matchup, I don't think, because it's like Solitude Ephemerate. But we did beat that once already, so we'll see if we can do it again. All right, Geist is better than Blood Artist, so we're going to lead there. And we do need to draw a land next turn. That is very important. So that is our game plan. If we can go land, that would be perfect. All right, Hallowed Fountain, tapped, sure. They're at 16 life. Otawara, still could be the Walls deck. No Walls being played as of yet. And this feels like a prismatic ending, sure. Later, dude. Geist is gone. Court of Calling, not what we wanted. We wanted a land. All right, play out our Blood Artist, pass the turn. They go land number 4. 1, 2, another prismatic maybe? Teferi, sure. Yeah, we're okay with that. I wonder if this is just like a blue-white control. Might be. All right, we really need to pull land. This is getting a little old. 4 turns in, no lands. Just the 2 in our opener. Our opener was very, I mean, it wasn't good, but it was definitely, I think, a keep on 6. Not definitely. It was okay. But we did need to draw a land. At this point, we're so far behind. I think it's going to be tough to win this one, but we'll see what they do. Coatl, sure. So this kind of supports the theory that this is a blink style deck. Bant colors in general, that's kind of what you're thinking. 2 mana, see if this is a Wall of Omens. Another prismatic maybe. That's what it feels like. Don't really care, that's fine. All right, we got there. And now the question is, what's the play? What's the play? Grist is probably the play, and the long game is probably the Squirrel plan. So we'll get a Grist into play, we'll uptick it. Dumped a land in the graveyard, would have liked that. Uptick the Teferi. 1, 2, 3. Soul Herder, that's problematic. So they're going to be drawing a card off this Ice Fang. Soul Herder is going to grow. If they have an Ephemerate up, that will blank a Grist minus. So this is, I would say, probably a pretty tough matchup for us. We did get land number 4, which is nice. I think we're going to lead on an insect. Double hit would be perfect. We highlighted a double hit. That's a singular hit. Not what we wanted. We're going to fetch another basic, and we're going to play out our Yawg. They're considering doing something there. I wonder if they're going to exile one of our insects, maybe. Feels like it. Okay, one of our insects is down. We are going to get rid of this Ice Fang Coatl. Turn them off of blinking that. We drew another land. Cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, if we can get up to 7 mana and just do this whole combo in 1 turn, that would be pretty sweet. I'd be okay with that. Solitude, sure. This is likely getting blinked. Okay, they're revoking it right off the bat here. Gets exiled. Soul Herder goes up to 4. It's going to swing down our Grist here. That's fine. That's fine. We have 2 cards in hand, 2 mana, 3 mana, 4 mana. Alright, so there's the Arcades. They have 1 card in hand. Alright, so from here, the problem is they have the Teferi. Teferi is annoying. I can go Scurry Oak, Dryad Arbor. I can go Ivy Lane Denizen, Scurry Oak, Dryad Arbor. That doesn't really get me anywhere. I think we're just going to try that though. Hope it's in play by next turn, and then hope to kill from there. We shall see. 2 mana Wall of Omens, sure. We're drawing a bunch of cards. A bajillion cards. Card advantage of this deck is ridiculous. This is actually my first time playing against this. I've wanted to play against this, but not under these circumstances. Not for the 5-0. We have 3 cards. We're going to take a hit for 8. It is a big hit. They're going to be able to blink, draw another 2 cards. They'll go up to 5 cards in hand. It's pretty ridiculous. Okay, we drew an Endurance. Endurance isn't bad. We're drawing all of our lands now too. 3 for a Scurry Oak. Cord for a Wolf. And then we'll get a... Now if we cord for a Wolf, we won't get any tokens off that. I think we just Scurry Oak into an Endurance. Hopefully the Scurry Oak survives here. We'll shuffle these back. They thought for a second. Solitude, sure. I think our Scurry Oak is biting the dust, unfortunately. Okay. Alright, so this is enough for me to pack it in. Sure. Unfortunate. Alright, we're going to bring in a Magus against this deck, I think. Shieldred seems decent. think there's a consideration for Necromentia. We're going to bring in our Thoughtseizes, Hapatra. I don't think we want Liberator. I think we'll bring in these 6 cards. And then boarding out, Yawgmoth seems pretty bad. Wall of Roots seems medium. I think we can probably dump, I would say dump a Geist, but I kind of want it for the Evos. Grist is fine, not great. It's a little tricky. I think we have to get rid of a second Yawgmoth. And then one more card. Kind of leaning towards Endurance here. I think we'll shave the Endurance and we'll go with this. All right, we'll see if our trend continues. 4-0 into 0-1. All right, game 2. Let's do it. We are on the play. Our opening 7 is acceptable. We will keep it. Kind of like a 6-card hand with the Dryad Arbor, but you got to go with it. All right, we'll lead Hierarch and pass the turn. We're hoping that survives here, that they don't have a Prismatic. They kept a 7-card hand. Oh, that was a good draw. The Solitude Ephemerate package is just so good against us. Oh, I cast the wrong card. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. I misclicked. I was talking. I meant to cast the Grist there. That was bad. If they have Solitude Ephemerate, that's just going to be game. Oh my gosh, that was such a mistake. I did not mean to do that. It's frustrating. All right, rest in peace, sure. That's not the end of the world. We're definitely going to get our Grist out this turn here. Could also just get a Yawg, but I think this is the better line. We're going to go super wide here. Yes. So we have 5, 6, 7. We're actually really close to just having like the Squirrel combo here, depending on what they do. Like if they have a Solitude, I wonder if we should just go for it just because it's kind of like the theme of this league, or do we take the conservative line and go for the Yawg Ephemerate? The Yawg is definitely the safe play here. Do we play safe? Plus Hierarch, Bird, and Yawg. All right, and from here, I think they're going to be hard pressed to win from here. All right, we drew a Thoughtseize as well, which is really good. Geist, not bad. I think we'll dump the Dryad Arbor here. This is fine. They have 6 cards in hand. All right, another Rest in Peace, an Arcades, and Eldamari's Call, a Teferi. I think we get rid of the call here, and pass the turn. Whoa, don't know what I did there. So I imagine they go Teferi here, island into Teferi, but that's not really going to do too much. Sure. Bounce the Yawg, sure. Unless they have some way to wipe the board, I don't think there's too much they can do at this point. All right, we drew into another land. I'm actually going to lead on the Yawg. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to put the -1 counter on the Yawg from the Hapatra to make an extra creature. Maybe I put it on a snake token just to get an untapped snake. Oh, Hapatra's a human, huh? I guess I can't put it on the Yawg. Okay, put it on a snake. It's fine. Okay, we'll pass the turn. They're at 6 life. Board wipe or bust for our opponent here. 2 mana, Wall of Omens, sure. They have 6 cards in hand. We know 3 of them. All right, game 3. Here, having seen multiple Rest in Pieces, I think we're going to bring in the Liberator this game. Shave the Magus. They've fetched basics pretty preemptively there. So I think we're going to take that line. I might even shave a Chord. Get a Wall of Roots in. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Just so I can develop my game plan in the early game. Opening 7 is pretty slow. I think we're going to keep this. As long as we hit our land drops, I think this is fine. You lead on a Beseiju, sure. Okay, that was a good draw. I'm just debating, do I lead Peatland or do I fetch? I think I'm going to fetch a basic. I'll play out our bird and pass the turn. That was like best case scenario in terms of a draw step, so that was really good. Okay, Wall of Omens, that is fine by us. Their mana is a little weird here. Let's see if they Solitude this bird. They're thinking about it. I think they're going to Solitude it. Yep. So it's nice that we got that out of their hand. Not nice that we don't have our 3rd land now. Innkeeper was a decent draw. We're gonna play that guy out, build out our mana a little bit more. So we need like 2 more turns here, depending on what they do. Hopefully they miss a land drop, maybe? Do we get lucky? Okay, they hit their 3rd land, but it's a tap land, which is good for us. Now can we hit our land drop? We do. This is really good for us. Okay, we're in business here. So I'm gonna get a basic swamp, and we're gonna play out our grist here. So next turn we can go Yawg. We're almost at like Yawg. If we draw another land, we can get Yawg and Cord for our Hepatra. Or if we get a double hit off the grist, but they're killing the grist here, so that's fine. All right, so we really want to hit a land here. Not a land. All right, Scurry Oak is a 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we're like in an interesting position here because we're close to doing a couple different things. I think I'm just going to play out my Scurry Oak here, and I'm going to Cord for a Dryad Arbor on their turn. They untap, 4 cards in hand, 5 mana, 1, 2, 3, Teferi. All right, we're gonna get our Dryad Arbor. They have 2 cards in hand. Okay, now we have Geist Evo into a Yawg as well, which I think is pretty strong, unless they have counter magic. I could also Yawg swing it to Teferi for 2 and play out a Hierarch. Got a bunch of different options here. Maybe we start by just swinging out to Teferi and see what happens. Playing out the Yawg. The reason I'm doing this is because I can double spell next turn, depending on what they do. Thinking about sacrificing the insect. All right, they leave up a white source. And because of Solitude Ephemerate, I'm actually going to play out the Hierarch here right now and pass the turn. All right, so they're calling. They're going to get themselves a Solitude, I would imagine. And they do, sure. So if they play another land out, which they did, I'm going to play around Solitude Ephemerate here, and I'm going to kill the Solitude with it on the stack, with the Exile on the stack, just so I can Ephemerate if I need to. I can dodge an Ephemerate if I need to. It would be really fitting if we won this league because of Squirrels, like won the 5-0. That would make me happy. It would be a very fitting end to this league, and it feels like this game might be heading in that direction. All right, they're fetching now. So they're representing Solitude Ephemerate. Here comes the Solitude. This is what they tutored for. Sure. Let you announce your target here. Yawg is the target, as expected. -1 here. We're expecting an Ephemerate. Okay, no Ephemerate. Yeah, that's fine. And the reason I sacrificed the Innkeeper there was because I wanted to be able to Geist into Evo. All right, so they have 2 cards in hand. Feels like we're ahead here. Get another Yawg. Swing for 3, for 4. See if they block here. Maybe they block Ephemerate. And from here, I think I'm gonna try to draw into a land, which we got, which is really nice. Get ourselves a forest and play out a bird. And I'm not going to target the Wall of Roots just in case they do have another Ephemerate, or if they have their first Ephemerate, I'm going to play around that. There's not really a reason for me to like force this right now. Rest in peace. Okay. We're going to minus on the wall here and now. Veil of Summer. Okay, sure. I'm not going to draw a card. We won't draw a card, so nobody draws a card. Yeah, Amaya, not bad. They have 1 card in hand. We're going to lead with an attack for 4. Put them down to 10. Like, I'm unsure, like, do I play around a board wipe? Do I not? I guess we don't really care that much if they have a board wipe because we'll just draw a million cards. Play out our Grist, plus the Grist here. Chord of Calling. Oh, we would have liked that one. Play out the Scurry Oak. Play out our bird. Okay, here we go. Do you have a board wipe? They have a land. All right, I need to get Squirrels into play this turn. Whoa. We're doing it. We're doing it. You better not kill my Scurry Oak. Always yes. Yes. Ivy Lane Denizen. Yes. Let's go. Squirrels. All of the squirrels. This is such a fitting end to this league. The 5-0 with a million squirrels. Our opponent has one card in hand. They're letting us do our thing though. Corvin MTG, I appreciate that. Thank you for letting us do this. Thank you, thank you. This is just so gratifying to see all of these squirrels. All right, so they're making us always yes, always yield, and we're back at it. More squirrels. How many should we make? Like 60, 70, 80? I don't even need to say anything. We can just keep going here. We'll wait for Moto to stop us again, and then we'll stop at that point. But a very, very fitting end to our 5-0 run with Squirrel Yawg. It feels so good. And both of the matches we were playing against Solitude Ephemerate decks, this happened. This is, I mean, this game it probably didn't matter, but the other game. All right. Just say okay. Use the ability, yes. Trigger, yes. And we'll put the Squirrel's ability, yes. Oh, it's auto-targeting. I should turn off auto-yields. Okay, yes. We'll put a counter on the Ivy Lane Denizen just to make them a little bit bigger. Okay, so I think we draw some cards at this point. All right, I think that's a good one. All right, how about we start with, let's start with an attack. Leave our birds back. We'll leave our ignoble back. We're going to kill this wall before blockers are declared. Then let us have our fun here. Good. Okay. We'll hit with a 48-49 Scurry Oak. And the 5-0 is ours. Success with the squirrels. Yes. So a fitting end to this awesome league. We got there. The 5-0 with Yawgmoth Squirrels, the Ivy Lane Denizen, and Scurry Oak combo. Definitely got us there with one of our matches. And in the last match, it was just a gratifying and fitting end to the league. That was a lot of fun. I had a really, really good time making this video and filming this league. That was just very, very satisfying to me. So this was a blast to play. I think if you're looking to have some fun, you're going to an FNM and you want to catch some people by surprise and, you know, have some laughs in the process, bring this build with you. I mean, it's competitive. It's probably not the optimal build, but it's definitely something, it can hold its own, as you just saw. We played against 5 real decks and it went 5-0, so it is viable. It's not optimal, but viable. So thank you guys for tuning in to my league with a million squirrels. I had fun doing this with you. Maybe we'll do this again sometime. If you haven't done so already or aren't aware already, I have just updated the Yawgmoth sideboard guide. You can find that in the description below. Thank you for tuning in. I'll see you all again next time. Everybody, be well.